Have you ever felt that life is passing you by? That no matter what you do, true peace, purpose, and abundance seem just out of reach? What if I told you that one of the greatest spiritual masters in history, Ibn Arabi, left behind timeless secrets lessons that can transform your heart, your mind, and your destiny? In this video, we're diving into 12 powerful lessons from Ibn Arabi, lessons on wealth, peace, protection, love, and the very essence of existence itself. These aren't just ideas to think about. They are keys to unlocking a life of spiritual clarity, divine guidance, and inner transformation. By the end of this video, you'll understand how to align your intention, master your heart, embrace patience, let go of ego, and experience the profound power of love just as Ibn Arabi taught. If you're ready to awaken your soul and step into a life of purpose, watch closely, because lesson number 12 will completely change the way you see yourself and the world around you. 1. The power of intention. Ibn Arabi emphasizes that every action begins with intention, or niyyah. It is not enough to simply perform a prayer, a good deed, or even recite a dua. The heart behind the action must be pure, sincere, and aligned with divine purpose. Your intention is like the seed you plant. The results you experience in life, both seen and unseen, grow from this seed. Without the right intention, even the most outwardly impressive actions may fall short of true spiritual benefit. He teaches that the universe responds to the energy of the heart, not just to external actions. When your intention is rooted in love, humility, and service, you align yourself with the divine flow, and blessings begin to manifest in ways beyond your control or imagination. Intention transforms ordinary actions into extraordinary spiritual tools. For example, when you give charity with genuine concern for others rather than to show off, or when you pray with full awareness rather than as a routine, the impact multiplies. Ibn Arabi warns that acting mechanically without awareness of your inner purpose can leave the soul empty, even if the act seems virtuous outwardly. In practical terms, before every action, pause and ask yourself, is my heart truly aligned with goodness? Am I acting to please Allah or just for recognition? This conscious connection between heart and deed awakens spiritual insight, opens doors to blessings, and cultivates inner peace. Truly, the power of intention is the first step toward transforming your life and connecting deeply with Allah. 2. Seek divine guidance daily. Ibn Arabi teaches that true guidance does not come from human knowledge alone. While learning and effort are important, the heart must remain connected to Allah, the ultimate source of wisdom. Seeking divine guidance daily is a practice of humility and trust, acknowledging that we do not know everything and that life's path is filled with unseen opportunities and challenges. This guidance is not always obvious. It often comes as subtle signs, feelings, or a sense of inner clarity when making decisions. Ibn Arabi emphasizes the importance of turning inward through prayer, reflection, and remembrance to listen to the whispers of the heart that align with the divine will. When we regularly ask Allah for clarity, we begin to perceive life through a lens of purpose rather than confusion. Daily guidance is also about cultivating awareness in every action. By consciously asking for divine direction before major choices, whether in relationships, work, or personal growth, we invite blessings and avoid unnecessary struggles. Ibn Arabi reminds us that even the smallest action, when guided by divine insight, can lead to profound spiritual and worldly outcomes. Practically, this can be as simple as starting the day with a dua, asking, "Guide me, Allah, to what is best for my soul and my life." Over time, this practice strengthens intuition, nurtures patience, and aligns our choices with a higher purpose. The key lesson: seek guidance daily, and your path will become illuminated with divine wisdom. 3. The power of dua. Ibn Arabi teaches that dua is more than just asking for what you want. It is a profound spiritual practice that aligns your heart with the divine will. A dua recited with sincerity, presence, and humility is not merely words. It is an intimate conversation with Allah, a channel through which blessings, protection, and peace flow into your life. The effectiveness of dua lies in the quality of the heart, not the quantity of words. Ibn Arabi emphasizes that repeating words mechanically, without awareness or devotion, is far less powerful than a short prayer spoken from a sincere heart. When you pour your heart into dua, acknowledging both your dependence on Allah and your trust in His wisdom, you open the doors to miraculous transformations. Moreover, dua is an act of surrender. It teaches patience and trust because you are acknowledging that Allah knows what is best for you, even if the answers are delayed or come in unexpected forms. Ibn Arabi reminds us that some of the greatest blessings in life are unlocked not through effort alone, but through faith-filled supplication that prepares the soul to receive divine favor. To practice this daily, choose moments of stillness after prayer, in quiet reflection, or before sleep, and speak to Allah openly. Express gratitude, ask for guidance, protection, and sustenance, and trust that your sincere words are heard. Truly, dua is the bridge between human effort and divine blessings, and mastering this art can transform your life spiritually, emotionally, and even materially. 4. Detach from worldly distractions. Ibn Arabi teaches that true spiritual growth requires detachment from the distractions of the material world. While wealth, possessions, and social recognition are not inherently wrong, they can easily blind the soul, pulling attention away from what truly matters: connection with Allah and inner peace. Excessive attachment to worldly desires often leads to anxiety, dissatisfaction, and a constant chase that never fulfills the heart. Detachment does not mean abandoning responsibilities or becoming indifferent. Rather, it is a conscious shift in priorities. Ibn Arabi emphasizes that when the heart is free from excessive attachment, every action, whether mundane or significant, becomes infused with purpose and mindfulness. A detached heart can receive blessings more fully, as it is not weighed down by greed, envy, or distraction. This principle also applies to spiritual practices. Performing prayers, reciting dhikr, or making dua while mentally preoccupied with worldly concerns diminishes their impact. Ibn Arabi reminds us that presence of heart is essential, and detachment allows the soul to fully engage with divine wisdom. In practical terms, detachment can begin with small daily exercises, simplifying your life, prioritizing spiritual reflection, and consciously letting go of desires that do not serve your growth. By doing so, you create a space within yourself where divine guidance, peace, and true abundance can flow freely. Ultimately, detachment is not about loss, but about gaining the freedom to experience life's highest blessings. 5. The heart is the real mosque. Ibn Arabi teaches a profound truth that goes far beyond outward religious rituals. The true mosque is not just a physical building, but the human heart itself. While visiting mosques, performing prayers, and participating in communal worship are important acts of devotion, Ibn Arabi reminds us that spiritual connection and divine presence are cultivated within the heart. A mosque is a sacred space for gathering and reflection, but the heart is where Allah truly resides. The heart is a spiritual sanctuary, a place where love, sincerity, and awareness converge. Ibn Arabi emphasizes that without a purified heart, rituals risk becoming hollow, mechanical, or habitual. Imagine performing prayer while your mind is distracted by worldly worries or resentment. The outer actions may be correct, but the soul is disconnected. Conversely, a heart filled with devotion, humility, and awareness transforms even the simplest act into a powerful spiritual experience. This is the essence of Ibn Arabi's teaching. External forms are meaningful only when the internal reality aligns with them. Purifying the heart involves cultivating qualities such as love, patience, compassion, and forgiveness. Ibn Arabi often speaks about love as the essence of worship. When your heart is open, every action, a smile, a helping hand, a word of encouragement becomes an act of devotion, an extension of your prayer. The heart acts as a living mosque where divine light enters, guiding your thoughts, intentions, and actions. It is here that you truly feel the presence of Allah, experience inner peace, and receive subtle spiritual insights that outward rituals alone cannot provide. Another vital aspect of this lesson is self-awareness. Ibn Arabi teaches that one must constantly monitor the state of the heart, much like a caretaker tends a sacred space. Jealousy, pride, anger, and hatred are impurities that block divine presence. By purifying these negative tendencies, we create space for love, gratitude, and trust to flourish. This is why he emphasizes daily reflection, self-examination, and conscious remembrance of Allah Dhikra as practices to cleanse the heart and maintain it as a true mosque. Practically, this can mean setting aside moments each day for silent contemplation, reciting divine names, or making heartfelt dua. It means approaching every relationship, every interaction, and even your daily responsibilities with presence, sincerity, and mindfulness. Your heart becomes a living temple, constantly aware of Allah's presence and open to divine guidance. Ultimately, Ibn Arabi's teaching here is revolutionary in its simplicity and depth. Spirituality is not confined to walls or rituals. It is lived through the heart. When the heart becomes the real mosque, every action, every thought, and every intention is sanctified. The outer rituals then enhance, rather than replace, the inner reality. In this state, the believer experiences profound peace, divine guidance, and a life illuminated by love and spiritual insight. Truly, to nurture the heart as the real mosque is to transform your life from within, creating a space where Allah's presence is felt in every breath, every prayer, and every moment. 6. Embrace patience and trust. Ibn Arabi teaches that patience, sabr, and trust tawakkul are not passive virtues, but active, transformative practices that shape the soul and guide life's journey. The world is filled with trials, delays, and challenges that test our resolve, but these experiences are not meaningless. They are opportunities for the heart to grow, for the spirit to deepen, and for trust in Allah's plan to strengthen. To understand Ibn Arabi's wisdom, one must realize that patience is not simply waiting, it is actively surrendering to divine timing and wisdom. Life often unfolds in ways that seem confusing, unfair, or slow. We may pray for guidance, success, or relief, only to see obstacles persist. Ibn Arabi emphasizes that true patience means trusting that Allah's plan is perfect and all-encompassing, even if the immediate outcome is not what we desire. Every delay, every difficulty carries a hidden blessing that the heart may only perceive in retrospect. In this sense, patience is both an internal discipline and a spiritual art. It trains the heart to remain steadfast, aware, and aligned with divine wisdom even amidst hardship. Trust, or tawakkul, complements patience. Ibn Arabi teaches that trust is not passive resignation, but a dynamic alignment with Allah's will. It is the conscious decision to place your heart, mind, and actions under divine guidance, knowing that everything unfolds according to a higher wisdom. This trust allows the believer to act courageously, make decisions with clarity, and pursue goals without the burden of fear or doubt. When patience and trust are practiced together, the soul experiences a profound peace that is impervious to the chaos of the external world. Consider this practical application. When facing financial hardship, instead of panic or despair, one approaches the situation with prayer, sincere effort, and awareness that Allah's provision may arrive in unexpected ways. When dealing with relationship challenges, patience allows space for understanding, reflection, and reconciliation, while trust reminds the heart that the ultimate outcome is in divine hands. Ibn Arabi emphasizes that this combination transforms suffering into spiritual elevation, obstacles into lessons, and delays into divine preparation. Moreover, Ibn Arabi warns against impatience and hastiness, which stem from attachment to immediate gratification and ego-driven desires. Impatience clouds judgment, amplifies fear, and often leads to choices misaligned with divine wisdom. In contrast, a heart rooted in patience and trust is steady, calm, and receptive to guidance, able to navigate life with clarity and confidence. To cultivate this lesson, Ibn Arabi encourages daily reflection, mindfulness, and prayer. Pause before reacting, breathe deeply, and remind yourself, Allah's timing is perfect, and every trial carries hidden blessings. By doing so, patience becomes a lived practice, and trust becomes the foundation of a life attuned to divine grace. In essence, embracing patience and trust is about transforming the soul's relationship with time, challenges, and outcomes. It allows the believer to walk through life with serenity, resilience, and faith, knowing that every moment, every trial, and every blessing is part of Allah's infinite wisdom. Through this lens, the heart becomes unshakable, the spirit empowered, and the soul aligned with the eternal flow of divine mercy and guidance. 7. Wealth comes through gratitude. Ibn Arabi teaches that true wealth is not measured by material possessions alone, but by the heart's awareness and appreciation of divine blessings. The act of gratitude, shukr, is not simply saying thank you for what you have. It is a profound spiritual practice that opens channels of abundance, protection, and peace. According to Ibn Arabi, the heart that recognizes and appreciates Allah's gifts naturally attracts more blessings, while a heart consumed by desire, envy, or dissatisfaction blocks the flow of divine provision. Many people spend their lives chasing wealth, status, or success, believing that accumulation will bring happiness. Yet Ibn Arabi warns that wealth without gratitude is hollow. It may fill the purse, but it cannot fill the soul. Conversely, a grateful heart transforms even modest blessings into sources of deep contentment and spiritual prosperity. When we appreciate what we have, our perspective shifts. Scarcity becomes abundance, difficulty becomes opportunity, and the heart becomes fertile ground for divine favor. Gratitude, according to Ibn Arabi, is not only a private feeling but a way of living. It manifests in how we treat others, in our choices, and in the way we interact with the world. Sharing with those in need, acknowledging the help and kindness of others, and consciously reflecting on the blessings in life all deepen the practice of shukr. In this way, gratitude becomes a magnet for divine provision. Allah multiplies what is appreciated, turning small efforts into great returns, small resources into abundant sustenance, and minor acts into spiritual treasures. Ibn Arabi also emphasizes the connection between gratitude and contentment. When the heart is grateful, it learns to trust in divine wisdom, even when life circumstances seem challenging. This trust reduces anxiety, fear, and greed, allowing the believer to focus on meaningful action rather than endless striving. Gratitude thus becomes a form of spiritual wealth, a wealth that the world cannot take away, and that grows with each conscious acknowledgement of blessings. Practically, gratitude can be cultivated through daily reflection, listing your blessings, expressing thanks in prayer, and recognizing the divine presence in ordinary moments. Ibn Arabi encourages the believer to internalize gratitude, letting it shape thoughts, words, and deeds. When this becomes habitual, it transforms the heart into a vessel capable of receiving not just material sustenance, but also peace, protection, and spiritual insight. In essence, Ibn Arabi's teaching reveals a divine paradox. The more you give thanks for what you have, the more Allah increases your wealth in all forms. Wealth, in its deepest sense, flows not merely from external accumulation, but from an inner state of gratitude. A grateful heart unlocks doors that effort alone cannot open, attracts blessings from seen and unseen sources, and cultivates a life of balance, joy, and spiritual fulfillment. Truly, to embrace gratitude is to embrace the secret of divine abundance, where the heart becomes rich beyond measure and the soul aligned with Allah's eternal generosity. 8. The unity of all things. Ibn Arabi teaches that the universe is a vast, interconnected web, where every being, every moment, and every action reflects the presence of the divine. This concept, often referred to as watat al-wujud, the unity of existence, reminds us that nothing exists in isolation. Everything is interconnected, from the smallest grain of sand to the vastness of the cosmos, and this unity is a reflection of Allah's infinite presence. Recognizing this truth transforms the way we perceive life, relationships, and even our own purpose. Understanding the unity of all things is not merely a philosophical idea, it is a practical lens for living. When we see the divine essence in all beings, we cultivate empathy, compassion, and respect. Conflicts, hatred, and division arise from forgetting this unity, from seeing ourselves as separate and superior to others. Ibn Arabi teaches that every interaction becomes sacred when we perceive the divine spark in those around us. Helping another person, offering forgiveness, or speaking kindly is not only a moral act, but also a spiritual practice that strengthens our connection to Allah. This principle also extends to our inner world. Ibn Arabi explains that our thoughts, emotions, and intentions are part of the same universal flow. By harmonizing the heart, mind, and actions with divine truth, we align ourselves with the greater unity that governs creation. This alignment brings clarity, peace, and purpose. The believer learns to navigate life with awareness, seeing every event, whether joyful or challenging, as a thread in the intricate tapestry of existence, woven by Allah's wisdom. Practically, embracing this unity can transform daily life. Instead of responding with anger or resentment when faced with adversity, one pauses to consider the deeper connection and lesson in each circumstance. Acts of kindness are performed not for recognition, but as an acknowledgement of the shared essence of all beings. Even the natural world, the wind, the trees, the stars, becomes a teacher, reminding us of the interconnectedness of all life. Ibn Arabi also highlights the spiritual power of recognizing unity in prayer and meditation. When the heart perceives the oneness of existence, prayers are not merely requests, they become expressions of harmony with creation. Gratitude flows naturally, and the soul experiences profound joy, as if participating in the rhythm of the universe itself. Ultimately, this lesson calls the believer to transcend the illusion of separation. By perceiving the unity of all things, we cultivate love, compassion, and spiritual insight. We begin to act from a place of awareness, understanding that every word, thought, and action resonates within the larger web of existence. In Ibn Arabi's words, to recognize the unity of all things is to awaken to life itself, to live with purpose, presence, and a deep connection to the divine that permeates everything around us. 9. The secret of divine names. Ibn Arabi teaches that Allah's names are not just labels or titles, they are living realities, reflections of divine attributes that permeate the universe and the human soul. Known as Asma al-Husna, or the beautiful names of Allah, each name carries immense spiritual power and serves as a gateway for believers to draw closer to the divine. Understanding and invoking these names with presence and awareness is one of Ibn Arabi's most profound teachings, revealing a path towards spiritual elevation, inner peace, and even worldly blessings. Every name embodies a specific aspect of Allah's essence. Rizq reflects Allah as the provider, sustaining creation in infinite ways. Al-Salam embodies absolute peace, harmony, and safety. Al-Hafiz signifies protection, safeguarding creation and the hearts of believers. When a believer consciously calls upon these names in prayer or remembrance, they are not merely speaking words, they are aligning their heart with the divine qualities that these names represent. This alignment transforms both the inner state of the soul and the external circumstances of life. Ibn Arabi emphasizes that the power of the names lies in awareness and intention. Reciting them mechanically, without understanding or feeling, limits their impact. Instead, one must reflect on the attribute being invoked, internalize its meaning, and seek to embody it in one's own life. For example, calling upon Ar-Rahman, the most merciful, with genuine reflection opens the heart to both divine mercy and the capacity to show mercy to others. Reciting Al-Hafiz, the protector, with full awareness instills a sense of safety, calm, and trust in Allah's guardianship. In this way, the names serve as both spiritual tools and mirrors, reflecting divine qualities back into the life of the seeker. The spiritual significance of these names extends beyond personal transformation. Ibn Arabi teaches that invoking the names can attract blessings, protection, and sustenance, because every name carries an inherent divine energy that resonates with creation. This is why prophets, saints, and spiritual seekers have historically relied on the names in times of need to find guidance, to seek protection, to manifest sustenance, and to cultivate peace within the heart. When combined with sincere intention and devotional practice, the names become a bridge between human effort and divine favor, creating a dynamic flow of spiritual and material blessings. Moreover, Ibn Arabi explains that the names are a map of the soul. When a person reflects on them deeply, they gain insight into their own spiritual state. For instance, struggling with fear or anxiety may indicate a need to call upon Al-Muhaimin, the overseer, or as Sami, the all-hearing, to cultivate trust and inner security. By attuning to the names, the believer learns to identify spiritual imbalances, purify the heart, and cultivate divine attributes within themselves. It is a practice that unites inner transformation with outer manifestation, bringing harmony between the soul and the universe. Practically, Ibn Arabi encourages integrating the names into daily life, reciting them during prayers, in moments of reflection, or when facing challenges. Visualizing the meaning behind each name and feeling its energy flow through the heart enhances both spiritual awareness and practical outcomes. For instance, reciting Ar-Razaq before embarking on a business venture or asking for sustenance aligns intention with divine provision, creating opportunities that may otherwise remain hidden. Similarly, invoking Al-Salam during conflict or stress invites peace and harmony into turbulent situations. The secret, according to Ibn Arabi, lies not only in repetition, but in presence, reflection, and embodiment. Each name is a key. The heart is the lock. When the believer opens the heart with awareness, the divine presence flows naturally, bringing clarity, guidance, protection, and abundance. This is why Ibn Arabi stresses that the name should be approached with reverence, mindfulness, and sincere devotion. Ultimately, understanding and invoking the names of Allah transforms the believer's relationship with both the spiritual and material world. The names illuminate the soul, guide the heart, and create a living connection between human effort and divine grace. Ibn Arabi's teaching reminds us that the divine is not distant or abstract. It is accessible in every breath, every prayer, and every heartfelt invocation of the beautiful names. To master this secret is to unlock a direct channel to divine wisdom, blessings, and protection, cultivating a life infused with both spiritual depth and practical abundance. Truly, the secret of the names is a path to awakening the heart, aligning with the universe, and experiencing the divine in every moment, a treasure of wisdom that transforms ordinary life into a journey of sacred presence and eternal guidance. 10. Let go of ego. Ibn Arabi teaches that one of the greatest barriers to spiritual growth is the ego, the false sense of self that separates the soul from the divine. The ego is the voice of pride, fear, and attachment, constantly seeking recognition, control, and validation. While the ego is a natural part of human consciousness, Ibn Arabi emphasizes that clinging to it blinds us to the truth, blocks the flow of divine blessings, and distorts the perception of reality. To grow spiritually and experience true peace, one must learn to let go of the ego and surrender the self to Allah's wisdom. The ego manifests in many subtle ways. It shows up as arrogance when we believe we are better than others, as envy when we compare ourselves to those around us, and as impatience when life does not bend to our will. It seeks control over outcomes, demands attention, and creates resistance to divine guidance. Ibn Arabi teaches that the ego is like a veil over the heart. It distorts our vision and creates illusions of separation, making us forget that everything wealth, relationships, success, and even life itself is ultimately a trust from Allah. Letting go of the ego does not mean rejecting the self entirely or abandoning responsibility. Rather, it is a conscious surrender of attachment to the self-centered mind, recognizing that the true self is the soul aligned with divine purpose. Ibn Arabi calls this process fana, or annihilation of the ego, where the lower self dissolves and the higher consciousness, aligned with Allah, emerges. In this state, actions are no longer driven by pride, fear, or desire for recognition, but by awareness, love, and spiritual clarity. Practically, letting go of ego begins with self-awareness and reflection. Pause before reacting to criticism, success, or conflict. Ask yourself, am I acting from fear, pride, or desire, or am I acting from love, awareness, and sincerity? By observing the impulses of the ego without judgment, the heart begins to detach from them naturally. Acts of humility, forgiveness, and service also help dissolve the ego's grip. Ibn Arabi emphasizes that true spiritual strength arises not from asserting oneself over others, but from silently aligning with divine will in every thought and action. The benefits of releasing the ego are profound. When the ego loosens its hold, the heart becomes receptive to divine guidance, inner peace, and spiritual insight. Relationships improve because attachment to status, recognition, and control diminishes. The soul experiences freedom from fear and anxiety, recognizing that life's outcomes are ultimately in Allah's hands. Even in the face of hardship or injustice, a heart free from ego can remain serene, trusting in divine wisdom rather than clinging to personal desires. Ibn Arabi also teaches that ego is intimately connected to worldly attachment. The more we cling to possessions, reputation, or control, the stronger the ego grows, and the further the heart drifts from spiritual reality. Letting go involves not just detachment from internal desires, but also a conscious recognition that everything external is temporary and ultimately belongs to Allah. By surrendering attachment, the believer aligns with a higher order, allowing divine blessings, guidance, and protection to flow without obstruction. Meditative practices, dhikr, remembrance of Allah, and conscious prayer are key tools in this process. By focusing the heart on divine presence rather than self-centered thoughts, the believer cultivates a deep humility and awareness that naturally dissolves the ego. Ibn Arabi teaches that this surrender is not passive. It is a powerful, active engagement of the soul, transforming both inner life and outward actions. Ultimately, letting go of ego is about realizing the unity between the self and the divine, where pride, fear, and attachment no longer cloud judgment or block spiritual insight. It allows the heart to act from clarity, the mind to think with wisdom, and the soul to connect deeply with Allah. Ibn Arabi reminds us that surrendering the ego is not weakness, but the key to true spiritual strength, peace, and eternal guidance. In this state, every prayer, every action, and every moment becomes infused with divine presence, revealing the soul's highest potential. Truly, letting go of ego is a journey of liberation, a sacred process that opens the door to spiritual abundance, profound love, and alignment with the eternal wisdom of Allah. It is the foundation for all other spiritual lessons, allowing the heart to receive divine light unobstructed and the soul to rise beyond the illusions of self. 11. Time is trust. Ibn Arabi teaches that time is one of the greatest trusts given to human beings, a sacred resource entrusted by Allah that must be used wisely and purposefully. Unlike wealth or possessions, time cannot be reclaimed once it passes. Every moment is a gift that carries the potential for spiritual growth, divine connection, and meaningful action. This understanding transforms how a believer approaches daily life, revealing that how we spend our time reflects our true priorities, intentions, and relationship with Allah. Time, according to Ibn Arabi, is intimately linked with spiritual accountability. Every hour, minute, and second is an opportunity to cultivate virtues, perform acts of worship, seek knowledge, and practice gratitude. Wasting time on trivial pursuits, distractions, or indulgences not only limits worldly productivity, but also obstructs spiritual progress. Ibn Arabi emphasizes that mindful engagement with time allows the believer to align daily life with divine purpose, turning routine actions into acts of devotion. Each moment becomes a chance to grow closer to Allah, to purify the heart, and to manifest blessings in the world. This perspective also highlights the sacredness of the present moment. While the past is gone and the future remains uncertain, the present is a divine gift. Ibn Arabi teaches that a heart fully present in each moment, aware of Allah's guidance, can transform ordinary tasks into extraordinary spiritual practices. Eating, working, praying, or interacting with others can all become opportunities to exercise mindfulness, gratitude, and sincerity. By consciously dedicating time to spiritual reflection and ethical action, the believer cultivates a life rich in purpose and harmony. Time is also deeply connected with trust, or tawakkul. Ibn Arabi explains that managing time wisely requires trust in divine wisdom. Life does not always unfold according to personal plans, and unexpected events can disrupt schedules, ambitions, and expectations. A believer learns to respond to these shifts with patience and trust, recognizing that Allah's timing is perfect and that each moment carries hidden blessings. Even moments of difficulty or waiting are part of a divine process designed to refine the heart, strengthen character, and align human action with higher wisdom. Practically, applying this lesson involves prioritizing activities that nourish the soul, strengthen faith, and contribute to personal growth. Simple practices like daily prayer, reflection, reading sacred texts, and making dua should be consciously integrated into routines. Ibn Arabi encourages reflection on how time is spent. Am I investing my moments in what truly matters, or am I distracted by fleeting desires? This conscious evaluation helps the believer reclaim control over time and transform it into a vessel for spiritual abundance. Moreover, Ibn Arabi warns against procrastination and delay, which he sees as betrayals of the trust that time represents. Every moment wasted is an opportunity lost, a chance to act with intention, to seek knowledge, or to serve others. By treating time as a sacred trust, the believer develops discipline, focus, and a profound appreciation for life's fleeting nature. This perspective fosters urgency, not out of fear, but out of love and reverence for the divine, motivating purposeful action in every sphere of life. Ibn Arabi also highlights the relationship between time and spiritual growth. Just as a seed requires consistent care, attention, and nurturing to grow, the soul requires daily engagement with prayer, reflection, and virtuous deeds. Time, when respected and used wisely, allows the heart to blossom, wisdom to deepen, and the soul to align fully with divine purpose. Each day becomes a microcosm of life itself, a chance to practice patience, gratitude, devotion, and presence. Ultimately, Ibn Arabi's lesson is clear. Time is a sacred trust that demands mindfulness, discipline, and reverence. It is both a test and a blessing, offering endless opportunities for spiritual refinement and divine connection. By valuing time, living intentionally, and acting with awareness, the believer transforms every moment into a gateway for blessings, peace, and spiritual growth. In this way, the heart becomes attuned to the rhythm of divine wisdom, and the soul experiences the profound harmony of living in alignment with Allah's eternal guidance. Truly, respecting time as a trust is not merely a practical principle, it is a spiritual art, a key to unlocking abundance, purpose, and a life lived in deep connection with the divine. Every second becomes sacred, every action meaningful, and every day an opportunity to rise closer to Allah. 12. The ultimate lesson: love is the path. Ibn Arabi teaches that love is the essence of life, the ultimate path to spiritual awakening, and the foundation upon which all other lessons rest. Love, in this context, is not merely an emotion or attachment. It is a profound force that connects the human soul to Allah, to creation, and to the very purpose of existence. To live in love is to see beyond ego, fear, and separation, and to embrace the interconnectedness of all things as a reflection of divine reality. Ibn Arabi calls love the secret that transforms ordinary life into a sacred journey, illuminating the heart and guiding every action with divine presence. At its core, Ibn Arabi's concept of love is spiritual, unconditional, and all-encompassing. It begins with love for Allah, which transcends desire, obligation, or expectation. This love is rooted in awe, reverence, and gratitude for the Creator who is the source of all being. When the heart truly loves Allah, it naturally aligns with divine will, seeking what is righteous and good, rather than selfish or fleeting. Love becomes a compass, guiding thoughts, intentions, and actions toward higher purpose. Ibn Arabi emphasizes that love is both the beginning and the destination of spiritual life, and without it, knowledge, rituals, and effort remain incomplete or hollow. But love does not stop at the divine. Ibn Arabi teaches that love for others and love for the self are equally essential aspects of spiritual awakening. Seeing the divine spark in every human being fosters compassion, empathy, and forgiveness. Acts of kindness, patience, and service are elevated when performed from a place of love rather than obligation or expectation. Similarly, self-love, grounded in awareness and acceptance, allows the soul to flourish. Recognizing one's inherent dignity and purpose is not selfish. It is necessary for cultivating the strength, clarity, and presence required to love genuinely. Love, in Ibn Arabi's view, also transforms the way we perceive the world and its challenges. Suffering, trials, and loss are no longer merely obstacles, but opportunities to deepen our love, trust, and surrender. By embracing life with love, the heart learns patience, gratitude, and humility. Even the most difficult experiences become teachers, guiding the soul to greater awareness, resilience, and alignment with divine wisdom. Love transforms the mundane into the sacred, revealing that every interaction, every breath, and every moment carries divine significance. Practically, cultivating this love involves awareness, reflection, and intentional action. Daily practices like heartfelt dua, dhikr, remembrance of Allah, and meditation on divine names foster a connection to divine love. Extending this love outward through acts of service, forgiveness, and compassion allows the heart to expand beyond personal desires and ego-driven concerns. Ibn Arabi emphasizes that these practices are not isolated rituals, but part of a continuous journey, a conscious effort to align the heart, mind, and soul with the universal flow of love. Ibn Arabi also highlights the transformative power of romantic and familial love when guided by spiritual awareness. Love, when anchored in virtue, gratitude, and divine consciousness, strengthens bonds, cultivates harmony, and reflects the sacred nature of human relationships. Conversely, love driven by ego, attachment, or selfish desire often leads to suffering, distraction, and spiritual stagnation. Recognizing this distinction allows the believer to navigate relationships consciously, fostering deep connection without losing sight of spiritual priorities. Ultimately, Ibn Arabi teaches that love is the culmination of all spiritual practices, the key that unlocks every other lesson, and the force that unites the soul with the divine. Knowledge without love can become arrogance. Patience without love can become rigidity. Intention without love can become emptiness. Love infuses every aspect of life with purpose, beauty, and divine presence. It is the essence that transforms ritual into devotion, action into service, and existence itself into a sacred journey. To live by this lesson is to awaken fully to life. The heart becomes receptive to divine guidance, the soul attuned to the unity of creation, and every action a reflection of sacred love. Ibn Arabi reminds us that love is not merely a sentiment to feel, but a path to embody, a practice to live, and a force to guide every thought, word, and deed. Through love, the believer experiences profound peace, joy, and spiritual fulfillment, realizing that the ultimate purpose of life is not merely survival or achievement, but the cultivation of a heart that loves purely, deeply, and eternally. Truly, love is the path, the light, and the secret of all wisdom. To embrace love in every aspect of life is to walk in harmony with Allah, to see the divine in all creation, and to live a life of boundless spiritual richness and fulfillment. It is the final, ultimate lesson of Ibn Arabi, a lesson that transforms not just the heart, but the very soul, guiding it toward eternal peace, unity, and divine presence. Asterisk. These 12 lessons from Ibn Arabi are more than teachings. They are a roadmap to transform your life from the inside out, from mastering your heart and intention to embracing patience. Letting go of ego and realizing that love is the ultimate path, each lesson is a key to unlocking spiritual clarity, peace, and divine guidance. Now, it's your turn. Take these lessons, reflect on them, and start applying them in your life today. Remember, transformation doesn't happen by accident. It begins with awareness, intention, and action. If this video inspired you, hit that like button. Share it with someone who needs these powerful lessons, and subscribe for more life-changing wisdom from Ibn Arabi and other spiritual masters. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss a lesson that could change your life forever. Your journey toward clarity, abundance, and inner peace starts now. Step into the path of wisdom and let your soul awaken.